All right. This certainly, the 4th of July weekend for us in America is a chance or an opportunity for us to sort of say and recognize we're blessed. I mean, that certainly is just something that we say, we recognize. And I certainly can say amen to that, but I wanted to take it a step further today and maybe get us to think about we're not just blessed, but we're beyond blessed. And when we think blessed, a lot of times people use that word to say, well, this person's blessed, they got a nice house, or they're blessed, they have a great job, or they're blessed with a healthy family. And certainly those are blessings. But as the Queen of Sheba said about her visit to Solomon in 1 Kings 10, the half wasn't told to me. And if you using the word blessed, you're just getting started. And if you know the story, the queen hears about Solomon's wealth and wisdom, and in the first few chapters of Kings, he's wealthy beyond anyone's imagination. And she hears about it. She says, I need to go see that firsthand. And when she sees it, her eyes were open to stuff that she had never experienced before. And she could only say, the half wasn't told to me. That's what I think of when I think of how blessed we are. It's a word that gets used and thrown around constantly. But when you think about blessings, it's not even just that you back up a little bit. We'll use this one often here to say, well, did you realize you were blessed that your water was running this morning? And you realize, boy, I probably took that for granted. So yes, you're blessed to live in a free or prosperous land, and you're blessed that the water was running this morning. But I want to take it even a step further. In Genesis chapter 1, it says, God created man in his image, and then it says, and then God blessed them. He blessed them. A simple and unbelievably profound idea that you're favored by God, that somehow God is smiling on us, favoring us. I didn't know how to do it, but one of my thoughts, I had all these ideas about how to paint the water tower, and one of them was, there's a water tower that's kind of famous for its big, giant smiley face. It's just a big yellow smiley face. But I didn't know how I could represent God, but I thought that'd be cool if you could have God smiling down on Walled Lake, right? And just everybody knowing that you're blessed because of God's smile on us. But we don't recognize readily enough. So when the kids get growing, we start to teach them things like, you should be thankful. You should be thankful that you have running water. At the end of the service today, our beloved Pastor Bright's going to come and close in prayer from the beautiful, warm heart of Africa, the land of Malawi. And one of the reasons that we picked years ago to partner in an outreach to Malawi was because I sat down with someone who was a part of the church early days, and I said, I want to give to one of the neediest places on the planet. I want you to go do the research. And they came back, and that's how we started in Malawi. We wanted to be a blessing. And as you know, over the years, one of the things that we did is we helped people get running water, not to their homes, no, please to their village, please to walking distance. Unthinkable that you would have it coming into your home. Let's not be ridiculous. But if you could have it within walking distance, so one of the children could go and get it while everyone else is managing all the other chores. What an unbelievable blessing that you could have water within walking distance. But I'm not even talking about that blessing. I want to back up even more. I mentioned last week the slight blessing that, did you know that the rock that you're sitting on, cleverly titled from some TV show, Third Rock from the Sun, the rock that you're sitting on spinning at the equator over 1,000 miles an hour. How many know we're blessed to have children with us here today? All right, we're going to celebrate all their noises. Mine's going to make some noise, and this is one of the things that we always this is good. One of the things that we always talk about is you don't realize you're blessed until you don't have it, right? You have Kids World and workers and volunteers who we gave the day off today for 4th of July. Every single Sunday, serving and volunteering. We should thank them, I think, right now, all of our Kids World volunteers. And I think we should just celebrate that the kids are in here, and we're blessed to have them. So this rock that you're sitting on is spinning. And I got to thinking about that last week as I introduced the idea, and I thought, if it stopped spinning and we had to engineer something, we've got a lot of engineers here, I know that, working in the auto industry. We had to engineer something to get her going again. How exactly would we do that? How do you want to get the earth spinning? Yeah, right, like a hamster wheel. Just everybody start running this direction. Maybe we can get it going. And you realize that. So I did a little digging, and I wanted to find what's the scientific answer. What's the scientific answer for why the earth is spinning in the first place? And I came across some unbelievable things. Do you mind? I'll just read you a slice and tell me what you think. This is from childrensmuseum.org. According to scientists, 4.5 billion years ago, an immense cloud of dust and hydrogen gas began to collapse and caused the dust cloud to flatten and spin. Now, it's a scientific-ish thing. So one of the first things that you would look for in one of these reports is you'd see a little footnote there where you would know where they got that information because it's scientific. So I looked for a little notation of a footnote. I didn't see one. So I guess we just have to assume that that's good science. I'm not saying it's bad science, by the way. I'm just saying there is no footnote. We'll get to that in a minute. Perhaps the footnote has a name. As it became flatter, the disk rotated faster and faster. Now, we haven't got to the earth yet. This is just the spinning disk. From a bulge at the center of the spinning disk. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever researched this. I mean, maybe some of you wrote this. I don't know. But this was all new to me because I got to thinking, how did it start spinning in the first place? And I'll confess I slept through a lot of science classes. So I probably did learn somewhere, but I had to relearn this week. And this was perhaps the leading answer. So from a bulge at the center of the spinning disk, the sun formed. Over the next few hundred million years, this volatile spinning continued around the sun as dust particles collided and clumped together. They formed planets, moons, asteroids, and comets. Again, the footnote missing. I mean, there's a lot of, we'll just call it, for this purposes, really improbable coincidences. In those 3 sentences, some unbelievable, improbable coincidences. It's what you start to see as you read these is this painstaking effort to not say the G word. It's this morning, Charlie woke up and I noticed she had a dark ring around her mouth, and she was with Vicky's mom last night, babysitting her, and I said, Charlie, what's the dark ring around your mouth? And she said, Oreo cookies and ice cream. And I think she was in a confessing mood. Maybe it was because it was Sunday morning, and she goes, and I watched SpongeBob. Mom doesn't like Oreo cookies, Mom doesn't like her having ice cream, and Mom does not allow her to watch SpongeBob. And I think she was just in a confessing mood. And she just wanted to tell me. And we've noticed lately that she'll tell Dad a lot more than she'll tell Mom. Evidently, I'm the softie on the sweets. And so she gets downstairs, and we go see Mom. I bring her downstairs, and she got the chocolate ring. And I said, tell Mom what you got on your face. And she goes, I go, just tell her. And I think she finally, after all the cajoling, she spit out that maybe Nene gave her a chocolate cookie. And I said, tell her what else. She goes, No, I get to all the other stuff. And then you get ice cream and SpongeBob, and I know it's over, right? So watching her sit there with so much pain to not say Oreo cookie is the same way I feel that the writer, and by the way, I know we're guessing. The next sentence says this: scientists think. I mean, science is science. You would say they know, they've proven, they've demonstrated. They think that a large object, perhaps the size of Mars, impacted our planet. I'm going to read Genesis, and I'm going to read this, and knocked a chunk of material out that eventually became our moon, according to NASA's space place. They think. How many know we are talking wild guessing here? And I'm trying to be kind. Let me say another thing. I am not the God versus science person. Here's what I think. I think the problem is not God and science. The problem is not science versus spirituality. It's never been the problem. The problem is shallow science and shallow spirituality. When you genuinely believe in both, they meet in the middle at an unbelievable place called humility, harmony, and holiness, or faith, mystery. They both take you, if you're willing to go deep enough, to the exact same place. And just as many pastors are, and historically have been wanting to acknowledge scientific advancements, the church poorly acknowledging how the earth rotated around the sun, just dug in the heels, for no reason at all. Shallowness, I'll call it. The scientific community is, in the extreme parts, is dug in their heels to avoid saying God or divine mystery or creation. Scientists think. So something hit our planet, got it spinning, turned into our moon. I don't know. I can tell you this. You're sitting on a rock that's spinning 1,000 miles an hour, and you're really lucky. Because if you were sitting on one of those other rocks, you'd be begging to move to this neighborhood. It's so deep, it's such a deep blessing, we can't even really wrap our minds around it. So it's like you try to get your teenager to be thankful that there's running water, but you haven't even begun to think about being thankful that our planet is spinning. Oh, and it's spinning roughly 93 million miles away from that bulge we call the sun. In an elliptical orbit, sometimes it's 94, sometimes it's 91, but averaging out to 93. There's a lot of luck going on here for you to be breathing. So yeah, it's good to say we're blessed to live on this piece of dirt on the spinning rock, but let's be real. We are really blessed to just be on the rock. The biggest ones we always take for granted. So Charlie likes healthy and special. Let me explain. Special are the sweet things. And she's just gotten fond of saying the word, Dad, can I have special? And that's anything packed with sugar, right? And we always try to teach her, you need to eat healthy, you need to eat fruits and vegetables, and you need to have, some other things. And she goes, okay, Dad, I have idea. And I say, yes, Charlie. How about healthy and special? And she jumps up and down. And this is what I think. I think we've got a little addicted to sugar. I do. I think we're addicted. I think we're addicted to the special. We start to say, oh, you're blessed when you live in a really good neighborhood. You're blessed when you live on this part of the earth. Or you're blessed when you get this kind of a job. And I'm not taking away that God doesn't, but isn't it deeper than that even? Isn't it the nutrients of just being blessed? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And God saw it, and he said it's good. Could that be the understatement of the millennium? That it's good? Good. Good. Could you do that? I've often said, have you ever watched, anybody watch the Winter Olympics? And the Winter Olympics, I like to watch the snowboarding, and they go down the half pipe, and they go up and they do these flips and they land. And one of the things I've often said is, because I'm a wannabe snowboarder, is, it's hard to appreciate how good these athletes are, because one after another comes down, and they come out of the half pipe and they're doing these unbelievable flips and twists, and then the next one comes, and the commentators can, they're probably ex-pros themselves, and they can go, well, he could have tucked his elbow, and you're like, what? And this is my, and I think I'm going to run with this, so if I can get a couple of sponsors. I'm going to host a side-by-side Olympic event, if you want to watch it, and I'm going to get those guys to go, and then between every Olympic athlete, I'm going to have a Joe Schmo like you. Because you say, that was a good run. You're like, no, watch Pastor Bright on the snowboard. And then, because there's nothing to contrast it with. Your experience in the galaxy, you have nothing to contrast with. Good. God made it and said it was good? Lost the depth of the meaning of the word good. God is good. I want to do this series, I'm introducing it today, called Beyond Blessed. Because we're not just blessed, we're far beyond blessed. And I want to do this series because, for another reason, I want us to think about, we're not blessed so that we can be blessed, but we're blessed so that we can be a blessing. Remember Abraham, the calling, Genesis 12? I will bless you, I will make you great, and you will what? Be a blessing. It's all about being given a gift so that you can give the gift away. And when you understand this, I don't think it's a coincidence either, because it's not just that our earth is smoking around the earth, right? My notes will be wrong. I'll look it up. But it's some crazy numbers, 600,000 miles an hour. And then our sun, it happens to be, is rotating around the Milky Way. There's this big dance going on there. And this is the big dance you need to understand, right? It just goes like this. It's the flow. The early theologians called it the Trinity. One pours love into the next pours love into that person, the next pours, it's a dance. It just keeps going like this. So God pours his love, his grace, his forgiveness, his mercy, his goodness. He showers it on you. Why? So you can just build this big container and pop? No. So that you can pour it to the next, and then they can pour it to the next, and they can pour it to the next. In the early days of Orchard Grove, we went to see a movie. It was called Paying It Forward. Anybody remember that movie? Pay It Forward. That's the whole idea. The whole idea is not, God blesses you so you can show everybody how blessed you are, but so that you can pay it forward. Now, I know that somehow people get the idea that the most important part of worship is that God needs to hear you praise him. I don't really buy into that. I mean, if you believe that, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I don't need to argue with you. But sometimes I wonder, it makes God a bit needy. And that's why I think you read the things in the scriptures like, God doesn't need your sacrifice. The cattle on 1,000 hills he doesn't need any. He's good. I do think it does something for our soul when we offer our thanks and praise to God. I really do. I think it recenters you. So I'm all for it, but I don't think it's because God needs it. But I think what God prefers, which is where the prophets came in and began to teach us, God didn't need our sacrifices, right? But he wanted mercy. He wanted us to be good to our fellow man. He wanted us to pay it, what? Forward. Blessed. The series we're going to do is called Beyond Blessed, and it means that it's time for us to pay it forward. So my clock says we're low on time, but here's what I'd like to have you think about this week. I want you, and if you're with your family, maybe take them as well. I want you to go out and watch the sunset. It's your assignment from your pastor. I want you to watch the sunset. I want you to get quiet. If you go over to South Haven or Lake Michigan, or even like down in St. Pete at the beach, it often happens. I mean, it's like a holy moment when the sun goes down. Have you ever done it? Have you been there, Lake Michigan, and people just stop, whatever they're doing, and they crowd to the beach, and they get their cameras out, and all of a sudden they stop. And more than once, I've seen this happen before. The sun goes down, and there's a crowd of people, and they start to applaud. So whether you choose to applaud or not, maybe that's up to you, but I want you to watch it go down. And I want you to realize that this giant ball, this big rock that this lucky rock that you're living on just made a turn. And how ridiculously blessed we are. We need to use the word ridiculously blessed because it's stupid how blessed we are. We haven't got to running water and free land, and we haven't even got to that stuff yet. We just got to the rock. And watch it sit. And then stay up late. And I want you to watch the stars come out. Get a blanket. Get snacks for the kids. And look at the stars. And then whoever chooses to be the shepherd in the family, you can quote Psalm 8 to the kids. When I consider your heavens, we don't consider it enough. That's the whole thing. If you don't consider it, you won't consider it. If you don't think about it, you won't think about it. When I consider it, I mean, you know how much time and digging I did just to find out these stupid little facts for you about our... But you have to think about it. Charlie doesn't think about plumbing. She doesn't care. She peed on the floor this morning, by the way, just so you know. Well, I was a little late getting here. Another story, but she doesn't think about it. It's assumed. It's assumed. The problem is we're living on assumptions, and you've already had a million miracles this morning. Someone wrote a book called The Miracle Morning, and I'm going to write my own, Million Miracles by Morning. You've already had a million miracles. If I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers. I mean, the poets here are just saying, does God have fingers? I don't know. But it's the same thing the guy was saying in the science book. They're just using different words. It's just something just swiped it. Get her going. Let's spin that one. That'll do, right there. Yeah, right there. That'll keep them alive. The work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place. Ready for this one? What is man that you are mindful of him? How is it that God even thinks about us? You and I, brothers and sisters, are beyond blessed. Let's stand. We'll have a closing prayer. Pastor Bright.